we had.
That's a great start for our German player.
All right, he's going first with the Tearlaments strategy. I mentioned he was playing a deck that wouldn't lose to Harvey's Feather Duster anymore. So maybe that was just his one weakness. So now it's just his tournament to win.
Yep. All gets Ash Blossomed on the Sharon.
Thomas on that Sinful Spells Rescue strategy.
Oh, that's a great card. That's Foolish Burial Goods. That's likely going to send a Trivy Karma into the graveyard and just give him more access to maybe even Pearl Arena.
Yeah, Foolish Burial Goods, really great. You can do Trivy Karma. You can send Soliak. There's a number of different cards you can send to access the Tearlament cards in your deck, and it does look like
it's Soliak this time, and we're going to get another monster into the hand.
Here we go. Let's see what Tearlament monster he's going to decide to add. He already has the Sharon that got ashed, so he's going to go for Tearlament's Kashtira. Not bad. He already put the Tearlaments card in his graveyard with that Soliak, so he'll be able to summon it from the hand.
Great synergy right there with one Foolish Burial Goods.
No, yeah, definitely a card you want to consider if you're using the Tearlament strategy, especially with all the names being limited. It's another way to access those cards. Not all the names. I guess Tearlament's Kashtira is still at 3.
We're going to banish out that Soliak and or get the summon of our Tearlaments Kashtira.
Oop. Oh, that's pretty good. He's going to be able to use
Scream, Meta Noise, and
trying to tier cash, showing free Meta Noise.
Yep, going to use all of them.
Wow.
An incredible effect. All the cards sent to the graveyard, quite strong. Gets with the tier cash in the hand thanks to the Meta Noise. Scream's going to be able to add a trap from the deck.
And we're sending 2 more cards into the graveyard through the Tearlaments Kashtira.
I didn't see it, but now the Fenrir is not too useful there in the graveyard. But he's going to add a second copy of Tearlaments Soliak from the deck to the hand here, thanks to Tearlaments Scream being sent.
I added a Soliak.
Tier cash, Soliak, and Sharon.
Luckily, there's no draw this time, so all the cards are going to be able to get into the hand.
Oh. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so it was a planet and a Fenrir that he sent to the graveyard off the tier cache.
Normal summon Sharon.
Normal summon Sharon.
All right.
Link those 2 into
This is a Link summon.
Blocker.
Barricade Boardwalker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's going to be able to discard to add, and then it's going to discard a Kelbeck, or sorry, Excavate.
And they're going to the grave.
I will activate.
Now this reveals the matchup of what Thomas is playing here.
Yep, now he's not going to be able to hide the fact that he is playing Rescue Ace. I guess if you're going to guess what deck your opponent's playing, you're going to go ahead and guess the most popular deck.
Summon Rhino.
Rhino Heart has been summoned out.
Sharon and Tearlaments Kashtira. Then I'll go Chunk 1 Rhino, Chunk 2 Soliak.
I thought you already used the Soliak.
Soliak has already activated.
So
Just Rhino,
yep,
just
you're
Rhino.
good.
Sorry.
So it's only going to be Rhino Heart.
Yep, so Rhino Heart's going to be able
Correct.
You added Soliak to that.
see what he does with the Rhino Heart here.
I'll send
Sends the Hovness.
No response.
Hovness effect. We're going to perform a fusion.
Yes.
Cuts the deck because these monsters are going to the bottom. Hovness is going to put itself, and let's see if he's going to go for a Mud Dragon here. He does already have the level 4. Yep, he's going to go for 2 darks with different types.
Mud Dragon, a wonderful card against Rescue Ace.
Definitely.
Most of the effects target.
Yeah, Mud Dragon's definitely a key card in that matchup.
Oh, he is going into Bahamut Shark. Bahamut Shark is going to lead to the next monster.
That's 2 level 4 waters. You can make Bahamut Shark, so that's going to summon Totally Awesome from the deck.
Great negation power. This is very different. This is kind of moving back into like the original drop of Tearlaments.
It is, yeah. This is kind of full circle. We kind of came all the way back to the Totally Awesome combos. I remember, yeah, like Cody Angeloff back doing this with Tearlaments when they first came out.
Yeah.
With like the Night Sword Serpent. Now he's going to link away the Bahamut Shark and the Barricade Boardwalker for Sprite Sprint. That's a link to it's another monster, so you can go Sprint. Sprint can send down a level 2 monster from your deck to the graveyard.
A Merly. Continuing the fusion plays.
See what he's going to put back.
Well, there's the graveyard is completely loaded.
He has the fusion, right? So you can put back Mud Dragon, so he'll get the Mud Dragon back into the extra deck to summon later on, hopefully useful against Rescue Ace, and he can go for Dragos Tapelli here potentially.
Yep.
Yep, looks like that is what he's
Over
considering.
the Mud Dragon.
Because like you mentioned how good Mud Dragon is against Rescue Ace, you definitely want to put that resource back into the extra deck.
Yes.
And we get a Predaplant Dragos Tapelia.
Dragos Tapelia is going to let him negate a monster effect by putting a Predaplant counter on the monster and changing its level.
That's going to be very useful, especially modifying the level, say, of a monster like Turbulence on the opposing side. Typically, that Turbulence being a level 9, you could put a level 1 tuner onto the field, and then you get Medium to Baron to Flare.
Ooh, yeah, definitely. And I think the level change stays even if the Dragos Stapelia leaves the field, right?
Correct.
Yep.
It's because of that counter, the Predaplan counter.
I have to resolve that. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Is it not optional to add that? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I was like,
Okay.
the Barricade Board Blocker has to add the field spell.
You pay for the cost.
So here comes the planet back to the hand.
Correct,
That's
yeah.
kind of cool. I like Barricade Board Blocker in this deck, especially useful when you draw something like Kelbeck in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
You have no shuffles in grave, correct?
The graveyard is going to matter a lot because there are the Earth Fairies.
Yeah,
You start
Mudora
by
and
activating
Keldo.
emergency.
So he's going to use Emergency, getting a little bit of benefit here from sending those 5 cards from the deck to the graveyard.
I'll just let you-
Going to be able to banish and set a trap. I think that's Contain.
That's very useful. People have to remember that you have to use that emergency just so that you can set up a 1 disruption with the moment you put up the hydrant because you can activate it right away.
Yep, definitely. And he gets Rescue Ace cards in his graveyard from that Kelbeck, so he'll be able to summon Turbulence or a Preventer pretty easily. Oh, I see in there. His hand seems pretty good.
We're going to see how Thomas's hand is going to play into Juwan's board.
Yeah, the Totally Awesome and Dragos Stapelia are going to be tough to navigate here. He does have, it looks like the Diabell Star, the Dark Witch, and he is going to lead with that sending
Airlifter.
Okay, interesting. So here comes the Diabell. So he's going to use the Diabell Star, the Black Witch, to get a Sinful Spoil. It sets one from the deck, a Sinful Spoil Speller Trap.
Likely not going to be the quick play spell. Probably just going to go for the original Sinful Spoil, Snake Eye.
I think he might have it in his hand, so he might grab Wanted here. But I'm not certain how many copies of the original Sinful Spoil Snake Eye he does play.
What if it's getting negated and destroyed and set back onto Juwan's field.
Give me that. And now it is his Diabell Star, the Black Witch. And then since the Totally Awesome is sent to the graveyard,
Sorry.
it's able to add back a water monster to Juho's hand, and he's going to add back,
I believe that was the Hofness?
I think it was Rhino Heart.
The Rhino Heart?
Yep, the water.
Oh, right. That is a water. Water only, not Aqua.
Hobness is on the bottom of the deck, I think, right now.
Yeah, not Aqua, not Aqua.
Could be Aqua. Pretty similar to Swap Frog and stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's an overlap. But here comes the Hydrant for the normal summon. That's why he sent that Airlifter. He knew it was always going to be normal summoning this Hydrant.
I will attempt to activate.
We're going to attempt to activate that Hydrant. Draco Spell targeting the Hydrant. Is there a reaction? We're going to... There it is. There's an immediate reaction right there. We get to negate the Draco Stapelia with the Contain.
Extinguish.
Oh, that's
Extinguish.
Extinguish. Oh, so the counter does land.
It's got a counter that makes it a level 1.
So
But
Extinguish destroys the Draco Stapelia.
so then it still goes through because the Draco Stapelia is not on the field anymore. It is going to resolve and get that search.
Huge.
That token, the counter rather, is not really doing anything here.
Not much.
The stats are already 0.
But now it's a Predaplant Hydrant. So he's going to be able to add Rescue Ace Preventer here, which is huge.
It could lead to a lot of plays. We do have the Airlifter in the graveyard. You can banish that, and then if you perform a link summon, putting into the graveyard, you can summon back the Airlifter, getting you another spell card.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We'll have to see if that is the line Thomas takes, but it does sound pretty good when I hear you say it. But it looks like this is going to prompt Juho to banish a Tearlaments card from his graveyard to spell summon Tearlaments Kastira to attempt to send some cards from the deck to the graveyard. But Thomas has the Ash Blossom.
Ooh, 2 ashes this game. These are the hands you have to make the best out of what you have, and being able to use both ashes, that's wonderful.
Definitely. And he has the 2 Airlifters, so he's going to banish one of those Airlifters to special summon Rescue Ace Preventer from the hand. Now he's going to use the effective Preventer to try and put the Tearlaments Kastira face down.
It makes sense because the back could be potentially a Soliak, which could negate a future card. And now with no Tearlaments available, there's no face-up Tearlaments. You can just play through without worrying about that back row if it is a Soliak.
Definitely, and I think it is. He added it off Scream in that last turn, so unless he maybe set a different card,
There's a potential.
There's a potential.
There's a potential.
I think it's a good read on it being Soliak there, which is definitely a heads up for using that Preventer effect. But I wonder if there's any merit into chaining the Soliak just to get the tier cash off the field and then sending a couple more cards from your deck to the graveyard. Try and run into something like Kaleido Heart to try and fight back into this game. But Juho not deciding to do that here. Maybe he has other plans.
Potentially there may be a Super Poly set as well. And Super Poly is actually pretty decent also against Rescue Ace, considering they're mainly just fire monsters. So at the very least, you can use your opponent's monster using a warrior and a machine to make that copy of Mud Dragon.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right, because he did send the Soleil from his hand to summon back the Rhino Heart, I think, and then tried to trigger that Soleil's effect on the previous turn. So it definitely isn't the Soleil, because, yeah, he would have chained it for sure. And I think you might have the right read that it might be.
That is a really good call from Thomas there, getting rid of that set card first.
Goes into SP Little Knight. He's still going to be able to chain it.
Yep.
Discard Trivi Karma from the hand.
There's not going to be any response because the face down cards can be used as fusion material, and that Diabell Star and the SP Little Knight, there's the Mud Dragon.
Yep, 2 darks with different attributes. You're going to get that Mud Dragon on the field, which is an excellent card against Rescue Ace, but the Preventer was still sent to the graveyard, so the Airlifter is going to be summoned to the field here. And now Airlifter's effect is going to allow him to add Rescue Ace Spell or Trap from the deck.
Just a spell.
Yeah.
Well, this is going to be a tight spot for Ju-On here because there's still a battle phase. And Mud Dragon isn't exactly the strongest monster.
It's not, especially in defense mode.
Yeah, just target a card on the field.
But discarding that Trivia Karma here is pretty solid. We know that Juho has the Primal Planet Rhino in his hand for follow-up. Trivia Karma for follow-up as well. It's going to be interesting. We're going to see if Thomas can get access to Rescue Ace Turbulence to get all of those Rescue Ace Spell or Trap cards onto the field.
But we know that one Extinguish is already in the graveyard. So even if he does set a bunch of cards onto the field, that's likely only going to be one Trap card, unless he also plays Reinforce.
Very true. And now we see that hard-drawn original Sinful Spoil Snake Eye, and it's going to send the card to special summon that Hydrant from the deck.
The name of the game is keeping Hydrant on the field so that all of your trap cards have the additional benefit of the secondary effect, which probably makes the effect even more powerful.
Definitely.
Now that's going to go into the Alert. Oh, did he open with Alert in hand?
I think that might be what he added off the Airlifter.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So now he's got the Alert into Turbulence. We're going to get some Banish.
Banish 2. Going to banish Airlifter and,
the other Hydrant.
Summon Preventer. Does Juho have anything to stop this last card? And it is Rescue Ace Turbulence. He's going to need something.
Turbulence effect.
Does he have Veiler? Does he play Effect Veiler?
I don't think he does. He's looking into his graveyard. Once you look into the graveyard at this point,
he's looking for anything, some hope, nothing there. So he's going to be able to set up to 4 Rescue Ace Spell or Trap cards from the deck to the field.
I think he's only going to be able to do 3. He's probably going to go for Emergency, the Rescue, and the Contain. Because they need to be different names.
Yep.
And we already saw the Alert being played. Yeah, there it is. There's a 3.
Contain, Emergency, and Rescue.
And if Hydrant was on field, I can't use it as material anymore?
Yeah, if you want to read it, you can.
All right, thank you.
Yep, you want to double check and make sure you know all the effects, because all the Rescue Ace cards do gain some bonus effects while you have that Hydrant on the field.
If you want a comparison with some of the cards you may already know, Contain more or less acts like the Infinite Impermanence, but if you do have the Hydrant on the field, it also prevents that monster from being used as material for any of your extra deck type summoning.
Yeah, but no materials them.
Yeah, no materials them, more or less. And as for the Extinguish, that monster with that name cannot activate.
Ooh, are we going to see that card that he's looking at on the top of his extra deck later on? We won't spoil that part of his deck just quite yet. We won't Sinful spoil it.
No.
But he's looking for his options, what he wants to go into. I probably wants to go to Battle Phase, clear things up, then find a way to go into SP maybe.
I wonder if we've seen the second effect of Turbulence this entire event yet. Where if your opponent removes a card off of your side of the field, you get to destroy one of their cards.
I don't think I have, yeah.
It's like, it's an effect that, is a bit underrated. Some people kind of forget about it, and sometimes it really just punishes them for forgetting about it. So we are going to see a Linkaribo into another 2-material Link monster.
SP.
Dark.
We got too excited.
Go Dark Effect, Special Summon back.
Dark Effect, Special Summon back.
Mud Dragon called Dark.
Sure.
Predaplant.
Dragos Stapelia.
And we also got the Mud Dragon chaining to the Predaplant summon, which would, the effect of Dark calling Dark, so that no Darks can be targeted.
Move to Battle Phase.
Now he's moving to Battle Phase, going to try and clean up this field. The Dark Charmer Gloomy is going to attack over Mud Dragon. Drago Sapelli is going to attack over the face-down Tearlaments Kashtira, leaving him a Sprite Sprint on the field. Might as well put a count on it. Now, I imagine he's going to link these away into... Oh, he's just going to Typhon, and Typhon will be able to return that Sprite Sprint by detaching the Drago Sapelli. That's not your Drago Sapelli.
That's a great way to clean things up here. Everything has been cleaned off the board. Juwan's going to start with a clean slate here, but there are follow-ups that you've mentioned earlier.
Yep, Super Star Slayer Typhon Sky Crisis. Pretty cool that you can incorporate into your lot of decks and be like your last action of the turn. And now it looks like Juho's going to activate the Trivi Karma, one of the coolest cards in the game. You get to add any spell or trap that mentions Vsauce Starfrost, which is all of the tier limit cards pretty much.
Yep.
Thank you.
Even though a lot of times you don't see Vsauce Starfrost being played in tier limit strategy, it's definitely part of his entire enormous amount of war that he has.
It's great just to put the card name in there just so that you have access to just even more lines. Now we're going to add a Heartbeat into hand.
Tournament Heartbeat, really good. It's going to be able to clear up one of those back rows. It can put a back row on your opponent's back to the deck, and then you get to discard a card.
Drawing for turn.
So we know he has Heartbeat and Planet. Now, how is he going to navigate? He doesn't have any disruption in forms of the monsters. I mean, the Typhon's going to stop 3,000 attack monsters from higher attack monsters from active effects. He's going to normal summon the Rhino Heart here. Rhino Heart on summon is going to allow him to send a Tearlaments monster from the deck to the graveyard.
And Yamil Camacho, please come back to the VIP.
In terms of monsters, Thomas does not have anything that's truly that beneficial at the moment. I mean, he can bring back one of his monsters with a rescue. Likely going to be high. If he wants to get something that would have, I guess, higher value, potentially a Hydrant to make the contain effect stronger. I think there might be another line that he can go, maybe enabling him to put a Preventer, but I'm not sure if Preventer's that great against a deck that would just perform fusions.
That's right.
But if they're just going to go into links, then yeah, you want to flip everything face down so that they never get to use those materials. So Pearl Arena has been activated. We're going to add another Tearlaments card into the hand.
Yep, and we saw Juho send down that Tearlaments Kashtira with Rhino Heart, and he was able to send 2 cards from the top of the deck to the graveyard. Nothing of importance. The King of the Swamp might come in handy later, opening up some of his extra deck options if he's able to get a Tearlament monster in his graveyard, which he will. He has him Merrily in hand. We know he has the Heartbeat, which is going to allow him to clean up a back row and get that Merrily into the graveyard by a card effect. And the Planet's going to help him clear up the field as well, being able to destroy a card when he returns a Tearlaments monster to his deck.
End of main.
End of main phase. Battle phase.
Interesting. He's going to crash into the dark here.
Dark is slightly stronger, isn't it?
1850, and but he has the Planet up, so the Rhino Heart's
right.
at 2,000. Going to attack over it for 150.
That's going to allow Thomas to add a card if he does have anything to add, but likely not the case because, well, Rescue Ace is a fire-based deck.
This is still in battle phase, correct?
Yep, still in battle phase, activating the quick play Tearlaments Heartbeat. He knows one of the cards in hand is Merrily.
We're going to see a Rescue activated. We're going to target.
Looks like he's eyeing Preventer.
Preventer.
So the Heartbeat's going to send Merrily.
Then declare Merlin Brave.
Actually, do you send if they chain it?
Not too sure. But
It didn't get returned to the deck. I'd have to read Heartbeat.
is it also?
I'm not sure. Let me pull up the exact text of that. It's been a while since I used Tearlaments Heartbeat.
I don't know. Someone's shouting something.
Yeah, I don't think he sends with the Heartbeat. I'm 99% sure. Just there's something in my heartbeat that is telling me he doesn't send if they chain it. Target one trap on the field, shuffle in the deck, then send one card.
Then you do not. You do not send. You do not send. You do not send.
I've had this interaction happen plenty of times in the past. It's been a while in the past, but yeah, you do not send if they chain it.
Yeah, that's the conjunctions. There's certain ones that you do regardless, which is the also conjunction. But if it's and if you do or if it's then, the first part of the effect must be successful for you to resolve the second part of the effect.
Yep.
And in this case, because the card was not shuffled back in, therefore you cannot discard that.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yep, no, definitely. This is the conjunction stuff.
No, because the rescue can't be shuffled into deck.
Because it was chained, yep.
It's a quick play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Phoenix Wind Blast.
Oh, okay.
So the card would not be sent to the graveyard.
This is going to cut down an entire.
I mean, this is going to end the game.
Probably, yeah.
He's already used his normal summon. He's sitting with 2 monsters in hand. This Heartbeat not resolving is rough.
And we know that there's no Sharon.
Yeah.
The Sharon's right there in the
It's
graveyard.
staring him right in the face. Yeah. This game is over. Yeah, he
and
did
then there's
pass turn,
emergency.
yep. He had already passed the turn. Emergency being activated at the end phase, I'd imagine here to summon out the Turbulence.
That's going to take out the Preventer. Preventer is going to activate.
And that's going to allow him to summon back.
And we're going to go for Airlifter. Airlifter is going to lead to another spell card being added to hand.
Chain Hopness.
Oh, the other card is a Hobness, so he has a chance here.
Now, we know that.
Oh, Rhino. Rhino can use its effect to summon, right? Once this resolves, yeah, let the first chain resolve, and then the Rhino's going to activate. It's going to add HQ.
HQ can put all the cards back, shuffle, and draw
This
one.
is huge. This is huge. He's not only going to be able to use the he's going to use the Merly to fuse. He can go into Kaleido Heart to shuffle back, and the planet is going to destroy a card on the field.
That is going to be big.
Wow, if Thomas just didn't activate any cards, he would have been in better shape here.
Yeah, maybe.
He could have just left him on nothing almost, but that's hard. It's hard to know that he drew into that Hobness again. I don't think he knew he had it.
We're going to see a Contain activated, but there is no Hydrant, so that Contain means that the Rhino Heart on the field can still be used as material.
Wow, I thought this was over, but this Hobness is really turning things around.
This is how like Tearlaments snowball. Once they get that correct mill in there, once they get the correct effects going on,
Yeah.
you might just see a complete 180 in terms of advantage.
Yeah, and I don't know, since we were looking at it from that other angle, I'm not sure which phase this is. I can only assume it's the end phase. But if he's still in mid phase 2, we have a lot of other stuff that could happen.
Oh, wait, yo. Oh, yeah, I used the Rhino as effect. Oh,
Yeah, you can't use Rhino Heart to send.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't use Rhino Heart to send, but you can summon it back and then send the card from his hand to the graveyard.
I already activated Rhino effect on my turn on the normal summon. I carried the effect again on special summon.
Are you trying to do the effect now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the effect was.
So there is another ruling call here.
Oh, because he chained the Contain on the Rhino Heart because he activated Rhino Heart's effect.
But he couldn't activate it, so that Contain might still be set because perhaps the illegal activation may have influenced the game state a little bit. So they are allowing to rewind and fix up that game state.
This is for something different.
Yeah.
I do have to give you a
Yep. Okay, so we just resolved the Merlin now.
Yep.
Okay.
So you have now just the Merly.
Just Merly, okay, that's still not too bad. But now the Contain is still there.
I figured that would take
That's huge.
Contain's going to provide one negation on the field. Now, it's not going to disable it from becoming a material.
Yeah, he's going to have to use one of those Rhino Hearts. I'd imagine he wants to use the one that won't be banished.
And if you were to destroy a card right now, like Turbulence...
He gets 2, right? Yeah, he's going to get the planet and the Kaleido Heart to shuffle. Shuffle and
Yep.
destroy? Which 2 are you going for?
If you were to shuffle back a card, that's a tough call here. Wait, hold on. There's also Typhon on the field.
Oh, and Kaleido Heart has over
3,000
3,000 attack. Oh, no. It's a Super Star Slayer Typhon Sky Crisis for Juho right now. Clearly Juho knows that, so he's just going to put 2 back to summon Garura. If he's still in his main phase 2, this is actually huge, but I think it's in phase.
Effect, think on target.
See, if you destroy anything other than, like, if you hit the Turbulence, you might get one of your cards that maybe get to, go off some more. But then again, getting your,
The turbulence.
yeah, you were taking out of Turbulence.
I think you have to go after that Turbulence, yep.
Then you could.
This is
Oh,
gonna
no, it goes to the, yeah, it's not Kaleido Heart. He's thinking the same thing I was, where the Kaleido Heart shuffles back, but it is definitely a destruction effect there from the planet. It's going to end up in the graveyard.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were both thinking the same thing.
Yep.
Draw for 10?
Yes.
And now he draws.
Okay.
There's a lot of good cards to draw in the Rescue Ace deck. He also has, we know what the one card in hand is Rescue Ace HQ.
Still very useful. I mean, it can provide you with one additional card draw. I still think it's worth to kind of dig it another card, put back all of your key disruptions here. Sometimes you leave one trap card in the graveyard so you can emergency it right onto the field as well. That's also an option in case you really need it, in the previous turn. So you put 4 back. That's why banishing cards doesn't feel too bad.
Drawing.
I'm going to shuffle up and draw a card. Let's see if that card is going to influence the remainder of this duel.
Let's see what he gets off this Rescue Ace HQ.
You have nothing live in your grave, correct?
I do not, as far as I know.
Yeah, nothing he can use as a quick effect really on his opponent's turn from the graveyard right now. This is an important turn. It's been a good game one. It's been a lengthy game one. We're 24 minutes deep into it, over half the time remaining. He's going to start with the original Sinful Spells. He's going to banish that from the graveyard.
Hydrant back in.
Oh,
I have a legal target. So.
Okay.
So he's going to go for Jet Synchron here. He's going to be able to add a level 1 fire.
That's right.
It's Jet Synchron. Jet Synchron, a cool level 1 fire. It's a 1-star tuner that you can just summon back from your graveyard. I think you have to send the top card of your deck. No, that's Global.
No, that's Global.
That's why it's just a
Or
joke.
that's also a Revolution Synchron.
Ooh, both very good.
But I think it's still pretty good. Having the Synchron gives you access to Borreload Savage Dragon, gives you access to Bandifoot, but you need to get those levels out first.
I love how Global has just survived in many new iterations, but new cards just doing the same thing as essentially the same thing. A 1-star tuner with 2 lives.
Oh, I love those. Well, Jet Synchron was like kind of embodied that a little bit.
Yeah, I got a little crazy during the Hulk years.
Yeah, I mean,
The
1-card
Hulk-
combo was. I enjoyed using it.
Oh yeah, 1-card Hulk is just fantastic. Shout outs to Kriston Hulk of Fibrax.
And Link Cross.
All right, Thomas considering his options here. It's been a tough game, been pretty back and forth.
I know there's pressure at that seat. I mean, everything's on the line now. We're going to special summon out Diabell Star.
He has to send a card. He's going to send his trap to the graveyard.
I think he has an emergency in the graveyard. That's why we can just put it back anyway.
Smart,
Like,
smart.
great way to manipulate your resources.
Definitely.
Now that's going to set up another card that's probably going to be a Wanted. Wanted has been set onto the second column.
Wanted.
That card can't be activated because that's a quick play.
Finally. It's such a cool looking card. I love the Wanted poster on it. It's so nice.
And we're going to link. Nope. Just picking it up, taking a look, taking a read.
I mean, he just has to break through this board and establish some decent interruptions. I don't think he's going to be able to win this turn. But that's not really a big Rescue Ace problem. They're just more so about grinding out the game. Oh, he does have the Jet Synchron, though. The Diabell Star is a level 7.
That's a Borreload Savage option here.
And he does have the Link Creep on his graveyard from when he used it on the previous turn. So he's going to Synchro Summon for a level 8. And it is Borreload Savage Dragon. He's going to be able to equip a Link monster. Gain Borreload counters equal to the Link rating, which is going to be 1. And while the Link monster is equipped, he's going to gain the attack.
He can't actually get it. He still has a
3,000
Typhoon.
attack. His own Typhon shutting him down.
I thought he was just going to get rid of his own card first before making into this play. That's definitely that.
You know, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. Super Star Slayer Typhon Sky Crisis for Thomas now. It's his crisis he's dealing with.
That's unfortunate. I mean, but the pressure's on.
Oh, this is the card. So this is why we wanted to feature him. He is actually including Arch Nemesis Ischatos. How do you say that?
Eschados?
That's what I thought. Okay, I was saying it right. Just making sure it's, Protoss brother, and he does banish 3 different types from your graveyard.
This one is the one with different types, and you get to call a particular, I believe, type, and all of that type gets destroyed, and that particular type cannot be special summoned for the rest of that turn until the next turn as well. It's a very big lock. Back in the Sword Soul day with Protoss, locking out an attribute.
Yep, it is definitely just as strong as Protoss, just in a little different deck because, there's so many different types in the Rescue A strategy, including when you're using the extra deck as well. Pretty cool. He actually has a way to search this out of his deck, too, that we haven't got to see yet, but I hope we do in one of these later games, if we make it to a later game.
But that's a lot of damage on the field.
Yep, I think that's 1,000, 3,000 attack over the Rhino Heart.
But right now, you can't activate that Arch Nemesis Eschados because it's also 3,000 attack. And Typhon's also still on the field.
You're right. So he's not going to be able to lock him out of too much unless he gets the Typhon off the field. But just clearing out that board, taking off all the monsters.
3Kers to swing over the 3 things.
Yeah, just attack, attack, attack. Leave him just Garura and a Prime Evil Planet Rhino.
He's getting rid of his guards. Dark in a Dark. SP getting rid of Garura. Garura's not going to be able to draw a card.
And I will pass turn.
That's pretty good. That's pretty solid. Now, if the current monster type that you want to call is not on the field, you cannot call it. So that's another big thing. But you want
like the Jet Synchron version because going into like Baron and Borreload Savage Dragon turn 1 set 4 seems so strong.
Now, Juwan's going to start off with the King of the Swamps. Discarded into the graveyard. We're going to be adding a Polymerization into the hand.
Yeah.
I love this card. I don't see it in every single deck because this is his tech choice.
Yeah, I was going to say King of Swamp's one of those cards where a lot of Tearlaments players are divided on it. Do I include it in my deck? Do I not include it in my deck? You get some extra options while it's in there. You could play stuff like Rainbow or the new
Grapha Fusion
in your extra deck, and it also gives you access to stuff like Guardian Chimera. There's definitely some advantages from it. But it's definitely been a point of conversation amongst the Tearlament deck builders.
I think it's a great card. I think the graph up level protection itself is already worth it. Converting your opponent's normal spell or trap cards into a discard for you, and then you can continue to make your fusion play.
Yep, so he sends Tear Cash to the graveyard. He's able to hit a Rhino Heart. Rhino Heart's going to summon back, and he's going to send Havnus from the hand to the graveyard. So now he's going to be able to fusion summon with the Havnus and that King of the Swamp.
What do you think it's going to be? This is a wild fusion now, but maybe it's Grapha. Grapha is the safest one. It helps you block stuff like Nibiru, but it is not. It is now Rukalos because that can replace the Kikalos name that is no longer available among us.
Rukalos is pretty strong, being able to stop a card that special summons, and he's going to overlay the 2 water monsters for a rank 4, and it is Bahamut Shark again, looking to go for that totally awesome.
And we got an Infinite Impermanence, negating the Bahamut Shark, kind of locking that one down. Very high impact, using an imperm to stop a totally awesome, so negate, more or less negate for negate. But not letting him get that body will prevent another water monster being added from the Toad effect when it's sent to the graveyard.
I used the negate to destroy the negate, but he has a chain here. He has Super Poly and discarding Mudora, so that's going to be useful on the next turn. You can use Mudora to put back those Rescue Ace monsters to stop Preventer and Turbulence coming out from the hand. But since the Super Poly resolves, he's going to be able to resolve his Bahamut Shark, get the totally awesome Mud Dragon on the field. Rukalos comes back because it was sent to the graveyard. What an answer.
I did not expect that.
It returned to him just having, totally awesome and Rukalos, but now he also has a Mud Dragon. And Mud Dragon is excellent against Rescue Ace since all their cards tend to target.
Now, one thing I really like about the Super Poly in this format is that for a deck to play Super Poly, you need to be able to use it not just to clear out your opponent's monster, but you can use it on your own stuff so you can protect your own play.
So cool. And we see the Airlifter being summoned here from Thomas. The one thing I also like about Juho's field right now, the Mud Dragon being a water, doesn't have to change its attribute because the whole field are just water monsters.
That's right. Auto protection.
Yep, already ready to go. And Airlifter is the response that Thomas wants to have here. It's probably the best normal summon in the Rescue Ace deck. So now he's going to be looking for the Rescue Ace spell. If he has Emergency already, he's probably going to grab Alert, and that looks like to be the case here. I can never tell if it's Alert or Rescue because it's so far away from the angle, but I'm pretty sure it's Alert. It has the words on them, too.
Yeah, that's right.
The most infuriating part for me.
But it's the foil part. It's reflected. You can't see it.
But it's usually Alert, but he does have Emergency.
Here we go. Emergency has been activated. Now, one thing that kind of caught me off guard with Emergency is that you can actually use the graveyard effect right away, as long as you have a trap card available already.
And it's super impactful in a matchup like this where they can send cards from your deck to the graveyard. I mean, we saw that in the previous game. That was a huge bonus for Thomas because out of those 5 cards he sent, there was an Emergency and one of those Rescue Ace trap cards.
Now, do you want to negate this and prevent the monster from landing onto the field?
I think so, because you also get to take that Emergency so you don't have that graveyard effect.
Just take that all away. And don't forget, this Emergency is once per turn.
And new chain? Toad effect.
Toad effect.
So he Rukalos something.
Anything on resolution?
Where did the Rukalos come from?
There must have been another card activated, but he didn't Toad.
Is he negating his own Toad?
I don't know. I'm not certain. Yeah, but now he's going to send 3 cards for this Tearlament Cashier from the deck to the field, and it's going to be Tearlament Heartbeat and Tearlament Sulliek. So the Heartbeat is going to immediately add back the Sulliek. Sulliek's going to let him search the deck and add a Tearlament monster from the deck to the hand.
And we get a Havnus.
And he still has. I wonder if he's going to snap use the Medora right here to put back the Rescue Ace cards from the deck, from the graveyard. I think you have to. Because the normal summon's gone, Emergency's gone. One of the only other ways to extend from the hand is something like Summon Preventer. So yeah, he is going to use the Medora, shuffle back both of the Rescue Ace cards.
Airlifter and...
Get back one of your own cards. Maybe your field spell. Or put back your Super Poly. No, we're going to go for the field spell. Field spell is obviously the more ideal choice. And we're going to see a chain.
Rescue.
I'm
sure that's the one he added too, since I said it was Alert.
Correct.
It could also be Alert. Alert would add it back to the hand because there's no Hydrant. So it's, but
that is Rescue.
Remember, all the effects, they just get so much better with Hydrant on the field.
Oh, yeah, definitely. They're solid without it, but infinitely better with the Hydrant on the field. So the Airlifter is going to return to the field. Juho just sitting on the Mud Dragon and Tearlament Kashtira. Not a lot going for him right now. He had a decent start. The Medora helped him out, but usually it's not enough if they can just find other ways to get monsters in the graveyard. And he hard drew the original Sinful Spoil Snake Eye again. He's going to be able to send that Airlifter to the graveyard. Special summon out of level 1 fire. Wee woo, it's a Hydrant.
And, well, we do have a Havness in hand, so if there's an activation, it's not going to be that easy.
So you're saying there's a chance?
There's a chance. I mean, all these top-level players, they like to layer out all their plays so that, if they have this interaction, we'll have a follow-up that way. And they try to keep all those interactions live as much as possible.
Certainly. Definitely seems like key to success. So we're going to see him immediately summoning out Turbulence here, banishing 2 Rescue Ace cards, despite Juho's best attempt to keep those cards out of the graveyard.
We're going to activate the Turbulence, and that's likely going to trigger our Havness friend here. Sending 3 cards into the graveyard. Oh, it hit a Keldo.
If he had the Keldo a little bit sooner, it would have been useful, but not quite.
That did not lead to the snowball rolling.
So now the Rescue Ace Turbulence is going to set a bunch of Rescue Ace Speller Traps from the deck up to 4.
Such a good card. Such a good card.
Correct.
There's going to be both traps: Contain, Extinguish, Emergency, and Alert.
Alert. That one I can tell. I can see it. The light is not shining directly on the foil now.
You can shuffle them up and reset them onto the field. So you don't know which one's which. Kind of like the Sky Striker thing.
Yeah, when I'm doing something like this, I like to shuffle. I don't want to know where I'm setting the cards. I don't want my opponent to get any soul read that I would put a card in a certain spot, so I make it completely random. Neither of us know which card is where. I'll check it later.
And we get Hydrant effect.
Smart that he held off on the Hydrant so he wouldn't trigger the Havness before the Turbulence resolved, because that could have been disastrous with the Keldo hitting to the graveyard.
And we get ourselves a Preventer.
He still has not summoned Preventer yet this turn. Let's see if he decides to...
Yes, Preventer.
It is a Preventer.
Activate Alert.
activate.
And Alert's going to get another card into the hand. Normally, without the Hydrant, you can only get it from the graveyard. And that's going to be an Airlifter.
Yep.
There's going to be follow-up.
And more importantly, he's also putting a Rescue Ace card into the graveyard. So he'll be able to summon this Preventer from his hand.
Now, luckily, there's nothing that can be targeted at the moment. That Mud Dragon kind of holding the fort from target-based effects. But I don't know how long that's going to last.
Yeah, holding the fort is that's a way to put it. He's waiting until he's destroyed by battle, probably. Yeah. This is kind of the same kind of thing we were seeing in the last game, where Juho's able to put up some monsters, but the Rescue Ace deck is able to keep on going, keep on summoning.
It's just so powerful. The amount you can just push right through.
I mean, it's been, the Snake Eye cards made a huge impact. The Sinful Spoil, the original Sinful Spoil Snake Eye is just such an incredible card.
500 here.
Attacks over the Mud Dragon, attacks over Tearlaments Kashtira, leaving just the Havness on the field. But I imagine that's going to be banished by SP Little Knight.
64 you have?
Yep.
Yes.
You can destroy by battle as well if needed, but there's nothing left to attack.
We'll go to main phase 2.
In phase 2, let's see if he links away the Hydrant and then links away the Preventer and the Link Karibo for an SP Little Knight potentially.
That's why the level 1s are so important for the SP Little Knight in this scenario. It just always gives you the additional trigger effect of SP Little Knight. That banish effect is so powerful, and then you get to follow up with just protection or maybe clear off some field cards. Just such a great card.
Definitely. So here comes the Link Karibo. So now see if he keeps it going. Yep, going to link away Preventer and Link Karibo. He's using a Link monster.
Taking out the Turbulence instead.
Interesting.
I think it's because the Preventer still has more value than the Turbulence. Being able to flip a monster face down could prevent some of the Link-based plays. We're going to banish away the Havness.
I don't know if you've cut since I last.
He no longer Havness. It's goneness.
And even if you... I wonder if he's going to end the board. Nope, there's not going to be...
Preventer, SP, a bunch of... I think he has Rescue Set, right? So he can bring back
right.
the Hydrant.
No response.
But Juho's going to start with Foolish Burial Goods to try and get something going here.
You know, sometimes I wish I could see like Juho play Harpy's Feather Duster himself.
Oh,
card that would come full circle.
Power. Yeah, full circle. That would have been so
circle.
nice. But he's running out of time and life points here. He's going to send Trivia Karma. Trivia Karma can banish from the graveyard here to add Primeval Planet Pelorino.
Activate Pearl
This is going to let him add a tier limit monster from the deck to the hand. Let's see if he goes for something like Sharon or Rhino Heart. Probably the Rhino Heart because he needs the names in the deck to fusion summon.
So there's also a copy of Emergency in the back. And if you use Emergency, you can send the Preventer. If you send the Preventer, you get to summon back one of the banished Rescue Ace. That's going to lead you into 2 monsters, which means he could potentially just summon back another copy of Preventer, now giving him a flip down effect as well. So that's how he can still manipulate that.
Definitely. And he's going to contain this Rhino Heart, chain Emergency.
It sure looks like it's going to go in that direction, but he might not be keeping the Preventer. He might be trying to get the secondary effect of our Contain.
Let's see what he decides to go for with Emergency. Is
that Contain or sorry, is that Extinguish?
I think it's Contain.
Because now there is the Hydrant on the field, and that's going to basically lead to another play because the Emergency has to go through now.
I just tribute a card.
Oh, it is.
No.
I can't see. These cards, I got to read the artwork because it has the words on them.
And he had the Preventer in hand, so he's going to go for the one in hand, leaving the Preventer live on the field. So he has both things available, which is the secondary effect, and can still keep the Preventer to flip a monster face down.
HQ.
And Airlifter now is HQ. It's very important to keep that HQ alive in this deck, because once you don't have the HQ, you're no longer able to grind out the game anymore.
All right, so now he's using the Keldo to put back some tier limit monsters into the deck, so he's going to be able to use the effect of Primeval Planet Pelarino to destroy a card in the field. And do you target...
Chain SP.
SP effect?
I think you target his own Rhino Heart, and then the SP is going to chain to banish them both until the end phase.
That's it.
And that's it.
That's it.
Thomas
concedes.
Thomas is going to win.